tunnel. In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
All right, hello and welcome to In the Tunnel. We are in quotations, a studio this week, and we are in our In the Tunnel t-shirts, which we personalized so well with such a large logo on the front, and we don't want to hear crap about it. Leave it alone. It's the first time we ever did custom shirts, and it was cheap, so keep that in mind. I wasn't paying $50 a shirt. All right. Fittingly so, this is episode number 36. We are in the Steel City, and if you know anything about Pittsburgh sports, you know Jerome Bettis wore number 36. He has a restaurant called Grill 36, and it just happened coincidentally to work off that this is episode number 36. Shout out to the Hall of Fame running back. And we are working with one mic because, well, what kind of trip to a studio would be more or less equipped with less equipment than needed. See, it was really bad wordplay, huh, Shaan?
Yeah.
All right.
But also, so if you're looking at the live broadcast or the video, you see a new graphic for the start of the episode.
Are you referring to the background art?
Yes.
So not only I think Shaan might not have understood what I meant by the background art. I was referring more to this little being up here, but he was referring, we got a little bit of a something else going on back there. Let's sit up a little bit more straight, get ourselves in camera a little bit more, because, almost had a little bit of a spill. We are indeed A-list celebrities, as it says here, and that was a prop doomed to fail, almost because, not only because I almost spilled a drink, but, plenty of reasons why. But on the positive side, we are going to start and let you know that in this trip, we are undefeated in games that we've attended. Amazingly, we went to 2 Pirates games, and they won both. And
One was a close one. Last one was a close one.
Yep, walk-off winner today. Saturday, April something.
April 6th.
6th, 6th, something, they'll start with S. And earlier in the week, I attended a Penguins game, 4-1 winners that included a clinch spot to the playoffs. So let's go.
Yeah, so, I mean, even though we're in Pittsburgh, I think we're going to start off with the non-Pittsburgh things and then...
It would only make sense.
Yeah, I know. So let's just jump straight into it. So, first thing we wanted to talk about was the new Jets uniforms.
Yes, the new Jets. The same Jets, but just in new colors. Well, not even new
Not
colors.
New colors, just new uniforms.
Just wearing different trash bags, really.
So initial impressions of the 4 images that we have.
I mean, it's basically like if Marshall University went pro. I mean, it's still not great. I mean, I get after 20-some years, you have to change it up a little bit. But really, all they did was put the stripe somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. And I'm kind of like the actual uniform aside, I'm sad they changed the helmet that little bit.
I mean, it's like barely noticeable.
Yeah, but hey, I feel like
they should
was so much part of them that changing it kind of sucks. But
I think that the Jets are one team that if they went to the old Jets logo, like airplane Jets logo, it would have been an upgrade. They're one of the teams that a throwback probably works better for.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right. So, I mean, that's as far as we planned on that. They tried technology They have that, new Nike technology, which makes every fabric breathable, especially when you suck anyway.
And that's not the actual inner lining of your
Yeah.
whatever you're wearing.
There's not a lot of science behind my theory, but I think I'm right. They thought that by signing Le'Veon Bell and a couple linebackers that all of a sudden this team was ready for a new identity and like that winning was going to... They thought that they were the new Seahawks. Like, oh, we've got pieces. It's like, well, you don't. But you still don't. Not at the right areas.
I mean, the pieces don't fit together, even if you have them.
Hey, Shaan, how easy is it to put together a jigsaw puzzle of a clear blue sky? Because that's basically the New York Jets roster. Oh, man.
All right. Anyway, what do we got next?
All right. We've got... Okay, so the Jets, and if you take a look, you'll see... and we'll read it out loud for people listening later, but the Jets' new slogan to come with their new uniforms is "Take Flight." So, I mean, we talked about this yesterday in the hotel room. It was basically more or less that when you're the Jets and you're a team that's, you're supposed to be like, airplanes, jets, take flight, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, take flight makes sense, but not with this current team. But the thing is, it's like, how many mantras can you have as the New York Jets if you were to do one every year? It's like, it has to come back around eventually. I'm surprised that if you did a Google search on New York Jets take flight, it's probably like once every 12 years that they use this slogan. And it probably has had better results than it will this time around. Watch the Jets will make like the wild card or something, but
I mean, if they make the playoffs, I'd be surprised.
yeah, I mean, but weirder things. I mean, they almost made it with Fitzpatrick, but
yeah, but Fitzpatrick was having like a decent enough. Like the team was all around playing decent enough.
he wasn't drinking a lot of alcohol. Not enough Fireball for Fitzpatrick's beard. Not him. Just his beard, because remember, it's playoff time. We're talking about beards here too.
All right. So anyway, enough about the Jets.
Yeah. So we threw on a few more to add to the list because it seems that marketing slogans yield some mixed bag results. So on the side we have some bad ones. We were gonna get to some good ones, but kind of ran out of time because we decided to go to a Pirates game last night instead. I mean, hey, we were looking for content. We'll have like little clips and pictures and stuff up on the page in the next few days because I got myself an actual camera, not just an iPhone camera, and I'll have to take that stuff off of a memory card. But, from there, we'll have some other stuff for you. Beautiful city skyline, stuff like that. Things that if you're not from Pittsburgh, you don't care about, but I'm going to shove down your throat anyway.
All right. Anyway, so which team do you want to go to next? Let's
All
go
right.
to the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. So I'll say this as someone who's gauged interest at times to the Suns. You guys had the first pick in the draft last year, and as good as DeAndre Ayton is, or ever will become, in his rookie year, he wasn't going to take you to the playoffs. There are still, I mean, the team doesn't have a point guard, Shaan. They have.
Oh yeah, I know.
Devin Booker's playing the point guard, and he's not a point guard. So here's the thing about this: the slogan "Time to Rise." Okay, like Rising of the Phoenix is a good move.
Are we rising from a coffin of where we were supposed to be?
Exactly. It's like rising from 6 feet under, but it's like a block of ice melting. Is eventually the water rises, but it takes years to do that in the Arctic regions.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Rising of the Phoenix, it's a good movie name, but like at least a movie can deliver a product here. The Suns. Try again.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one.
All right.
So,
you want to take the next one?
Let's go. Next one. We'll throw back to the Atlanta. Do we have Atlanta Thrashers on here?
We don't have a picture of it because the Atlanta Thrashers are so old that they didn't have a picture. I was more or less surprised I didn't just find a New York Times article with the headline of what the Thrashers slogan was, asking me to pay for a subscription because that's all they do.
So yeah, their slogan was "That's the hockey way," and I mean, come on, you're in Atlanta, your ice is probably melting anyway.
So, tell me about what the hockey way is. You guys can't even fill your stadium.
Well, I mean, moving back to Winnipeg, you filled your stadium, but not in Atlanta.
But at that point in time, the Hawks weren't even a good team, and they were filling the stadium better.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure more people care about basketball in Atlanta.
But Shaan, it's the hockey way.
Oh, yeah,
True. You have to show up to the basketball games. It's the hockey way in Atlanta.
Yeah, so I really don't think that just works out as a marketing slogan.
More or less like any other thing that was relevant to the Atlanta Thrashers in the early 2010s that didn't work out. You know, like the team itself, Ilya Kovalchuk, it was just all bad.
Hey, you don't have to talk to me about Ilya Kovalchuk.
Hey, I mean, Thrashers had to deal with that pain first, remember? And that was a trade. Like, you guys signed him.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being the Thrasher fan who's like, oh, we got something in return for Ilya Kovalchuk. It's like, oh, you guys are moving in a year and a half? It's like, oh. So we get something in return as an organization, but the fan just gets absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that's enough said about Atlanta.
Didn't Atlanta also have Pascal Dupuis? They traded him to the Penguins.
I think so.
Yeah, thanks for that. I got a free Dupuis jersey out of that one.
Yeah, so anyway, let's move on. The Celtics had a slogan, I don't know how long ago, but it said...
I think this was like 2014-15 era.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, but they still have... They have a current logo that they used last year in the playoffs called See Us Rise. You know, use the letter C because, you know, white girls don't use real words anymore. No offense to any basic white girls, but yeah, it's true. I'm checking off boxes for people who don't listen anyway.
So anyway, yeah, so their slogan was a couple years ago was "It's not luck."
Tell me, Shaan, how many titles have the Celtics won in the past 10 years? They won in 2008.
Yeah.
Have they won any since?
No.
So
I guess
it's not luck. I mean, it must be skill deficit.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other explanation if it's not luck.
Yeah. Unless, hear me out on this one. The IT was for when Isaiah Thomas was on the team. It's IT. Isaiah Thomas is not luck. It's right. Yeah. Because he's not luck, he's Isaiah Thomas, almost by name.
But how does that even make sense?
Well, I don't know. How does See Us Rise with the letter C make sense?
It's I mean,
I'd say it's wordplay, but it's not even a word.
Anyway, okay, so how about we move the Twins had a slogan.
All right, so let me take this one because I have some thoughts, which is normally a dangerous thing for me. When at least my mom has always told me when I have thoughts, bad things are on their way.
I'm just gonna move over here.
Yeah. You know, I mean the couch is only so big here. I mean, yeah. See, we're both kind of smack your end a little bit. Like we're both kind of on the edge of the smaller couch, but it works. It's in frame. So. The Twins, I believe it was last year, they had a slogan, "This is how we baseball." One thing, or a couple things here. If you're trying to appeal to crowds where, let's just say, grammatically they are not, very much in tune, people who've migrated to this country, stuff like that, I get it. But they're not moving to Minnesota. No one crossed the border in Texas and ended up in Minnesota a day later. Like, unless the Canadians are coming down, and, a lot of them speak English anyway. So this is how we baseball. Also, like I said, not grammatically correct. So if there's anything that tells me this team sucks, it's how it's not. This is how we play baseball. This is how we baseball, which basically is a metaphor. Which basically, in my mind, visualizes to a grounder to third that just gets misplayed.
I mean, so they're basically just saying, yeah, we know we suck. Let's just go with it.
What the weird thing is the year prior they were in the wild card game against the Yankees. You think build upon a foundation, and that ended up being the year that they traded Brian Dozier to the Dodgers. I don't know where he is now. Who cares? Because I mean, the future is bright in Minnesota. Yeah, I can't say that with a straight face. Joe Mauer's gone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't think that was a good marketing
You can hold
slogan.
the mic if you want, Sean. It's okay.
So, yeah. So let's go to the Mariners.
All right, Sean.
This one's just what the heck, man.
I mean,
Okay.
This one's kind of sort of okay.
No.
But it's still pretty bad.
It says true to the blue, okay? Your jerseys aren't blue.
I mean, they have an alternate that's blue, but
It's
they rock the teal more than the blue.
Yeah, like come on. What? So if you're going to say true to the blue, wear that thing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Or, like,
come on.
It's okay to have the accent teal in the logo like they do, where it's just like it kind of is on the arrows that are in the circle, but they use the accent teal way more than they use the blue.
Yeah.
It's like the blue is a specialist for the logo only.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think there's much to say about that one. It's like okay in a sense, but when you don't even like embrace your blue uniforms, when you try to give that type of slogan, it's not that good. Anyway, so the 76ers also had a slogan. It says "Unite or die." Like,
Sounds a little hectic.
I'm sorry, but like that's kind of extreme, and even though most of us have common sense,
I mean, they spent years on the trust the process thing. This is like the slogan I believe from last year when they made the playoffs as the 3 seed. You don't do Unite or Die is like a 1 seed thing. You get the top seed or like you. It's like it's the first time they had been in the playoffs for like 7 years. You can't go Unite or Die. You have to go like, I mean. A better slogan would have been like, we have a deep bench. Like, it's not even like a marketing slogan, but at least there's some truth to it.
but like no, Unite or Die is just a little too extreme, I guess, especially when
It
you're
comes
coming
down
off
to the
of
timing.
that.
Yeah, it comes
Right?
down to the timing.
So I mean, hey, that's just a little extreme, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then last one we have, this one's kind of my favorite. It's the Blackhawks in 2017. Their slogan was "one goal."
And
Okay.
This was the year that the Blackhawks were like the top seed in the West. Came in great expectations, as the top seeds always have. Proceeded to, I don't know, get swept by the Predators, who were the last team in the West. They got swept. Yeah.
They had so in that sweep they had one good thing, right? They didn't just have one goal.
How many did they have, Sean?
They had 3. Oh my god.
So in a marketing perspective, not only bad from like the start, but like I don't know if it was like marketing, like I don't know, giving away something for each goal, which probably didn't happen. They would have had to give away 3 times as many. But
Yeah.
not wins.
They didn't even have one of those.
They
so
couldn't give those away. Oh, actually, hold on. They give away 4 of them away in one series.
yeah, they couldn't get any of them.
It's hard to believe.
All right. So now let's
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to say there was one good one that I didn't take. Well, I guess take note is it. So I didn't take note of, at least from a visual standpoint here. The Utah Jazz. Their slogan last year in the playoffs was "Take note." That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The logo for your team is a music note. A little I mean, like, it's been that way since the team was in New Orleans. It doesn't really make sense. Mormon music doesn't really, hit my FM radio. I don't know about you. But if you're gonna stay with the Jazz, take note. It's a title that a mantra that works. Oh, and we also have on here for not great ones. Although this one's not really a big problem. The Penguins last year, as they were going for their three-peat, it was believe, but with a 3 instead of the B in the front of it. So, I mean, look, if you were them, you kind of had to do it. Like, the punchline wrote itself. But when you don't win, it looks bad. It just does.
Right. So, I mean, those are the slogans that we wanted to go over.
Yeah.
So
something different.
let's go to the main part of our episode today, right? We'll be covering a bunch of NHL hockey with a slight focus on Pittsburgh, as Jeremy was here for one game, and we're in the city, so why not?
Yep. Hey, if you're a Pitt student, come over. We'll hang out.
Oh, but first we have...
No, we'll do the NHL first. We'll end on a lighter note.
Okay, let me go back, because I
Get
accidentally
off the
hit...
slide, Shaan. We can't give away too much. We have all 2 viewers right now.
All right, so we have some wheels, huh?
It's time to play Wheel of Torture. Let's not say it too loud. There's a guest room right next to us.
Wheel of Torture, oh God.
You should have said that with the window open. Scare all the college students.
All right, so the first wheel, we're gonna go through all of the playoff.
I'm gonna do the background noise for you.
We're gonna go through all of the playoff matches. Some of them are a little weighted depending on what teams are playing. The first one we have for the wheel to decide is who's gonna win the Tampa Bay Lightning and Columbus matchup. So let's hit it.
All right, so we did weighted wheels, by the way. Did you mention that? All right.
And
it's going to be Tampa Bay.
So, yeah, Tampa Bay wins the first one. I mean, I agree with the wheel. What about you?
I agree with the wheel. I feel like the wheel the wheel doesn't depict how many games that each series goes, but it just predicts the inevitable demise of one team at a time. And, it's like Halloween. Who doesn't look forward to that?
All right, so you want to introduce the next one?
Yeah, so next we have, we have the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. So right now the Bruins have a little bit of a lead in the standings, but the Maple Leafs have a few more games to play.
Their game should be going on.
Right, should be going on right now, but by the time you hear this, because we love you so much for listening, we're just going to play as if it was 50-50. And the wheel spins, and it is
Boston.
Unfortunately.
So, I mean, I also agree with the wheel on this one. Like, the last series was going to be like a 4-1 or a 4-0. This one should be pretty close, though, like a 4-2, I would say. What about you?
At some point, I just want to see the Leafs win a series. Like, did they win any last year?
I don't think so.
All right, so we're still looking back at, when they blew the lead to Boston in the conference finals in 2013, 2014-ish. So I'd like to see the Leafs just get over the hump. Even if the Islanders a couple years ago could beat the Panthers to break that 20-year curse, the Leafs got to make it to round 2 one of these days. Now that they have Matthews and they have some talent around him that has kind of garnished into something of greater status, you got to do something with it. And I know it's going to be an uphill battle because the Bruins have that established talent. But, the window is open for you guys to compete. Do something with it.
Right. So next we have Washington and Carolina. This one is in Washington's favor a little bit, but not as much as the Tampa Bay and Columbus series.
Right. The Metro's a little closer.
So what do you think?
I think the wheel is going to tell me something that I knew.
Hey, so, I think we agree with the wheel on this one, too.
I think that it's going to be a little closer than the wheel depicts. But, realistically speaking, it's a Carolina team that hasn't been in the playoffs for, over 10 years now. It was 10 or 11 years.
Yeah, it's 10 years.
And just getting there was kind of a surprise. So, it's not that I don't think that they can win. I just think that they're too young to win. All right. And it's only right that I take the microphone for this one, I think. All right, so we decided to weigh this last one like the Bruins and the Leafs, a little 50-50 split for the Islanders and the Penguins because actually, if the Islanders lose tonight, don't pick up any points, and the Penguins win tonight, they are tied in the standings. So pretty much this is a lock-on 50-50. This is our most accurate other than teams that are like done for the year. So I mean, we already know what I'm going to say, Shaan. It's up to you.
I mean, I'll let the wheel choose. Oh,
And the first Pittsburgh loss of the trip. It's predicted to be the Islanders. So sleep with one eye open, Pens fans. But it's okay because we've clinched the playoffs while I was here. And, I mean, it'll be a better series than I think a lot of people think. I think that, but I will say this again. Barzal, this is the first time he's in the playoffs, right? Was he called up when they won that series against the Panthers a couple years ago?
no.
All right, so I mean they have a few pieces that have been there before, but your best players are new. So
Right. So I think this series is also quite close. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go the distance, but a 6-game series is not that unheard of.
I think it goes 7. I don't want it to go 7 because I won't sleep at night, but it'll go 7. I think because it's just especially if this series starts in Nassau Coliseum because that's probably where they're going to play the playoff game. This year they did split between the two arenas. I have no idea how the lease works out for the playoffs.
I mean, I think they might have to go to Barclays Center due to capacity, but
Okay, I'm taking the Penguins to win at least one game in the Barclays Center. In Nassau Coliseum, I'm saying that it's harder because the Barclays Center, the fan environment, the arena is too open to justify the crowd noise bouncing off the walls. You got like Hondas and stuff behind the glass. It's just there's too many obstructions that won't allow it. But in Nassau Coliseum, I think that the Islanders could walk out of a series 2 games up or 1-1. It would be a hard – I mean, look, they played each other in the 2013 round 1 on that lockout season. When the Penguins had Iginla and Morrow and all those guys, the Islanders still made it a tough out. It was a 6-game series. I think they're more balanced now than they were years ago. So I could see this going 7.
all right. Yeah, so I mean, that's it for the East. So moving on to the West, our first match is Calgary and Colorado. Again, this one's weighted heavily in Calgary's favor only because they are looking a lot better. And let's see. Oh, do we have an upset? Oh, so Calgary takes it. I agree. I think it's going to be like 5 games. What about you?
I don't know that Calgary has the composure of having been in the playoffs often enough for it to be only 5, but I'd say 6. But I think Colorado is a shaky team. They started out well, had a bunch of representatives for the All-Star weekend, and then none of them were like injury replacements. They were all going to be there. And then, Rantanen had been having a big year. But at the same time, they still hit a slump, and they had to bounce back big to get back from it. And they clinch, a playoff spot as all teams have. We just don't know all the matchups. And just to jump away from this for a quick second, we're only doing 2 matchups in the West, or no, we're doing all 4. All right, because some matchups are, as of right now, not decided, but to the best of our knowledge, we're going to fill you in.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I still think Calgary has a pretty easy time with Colorado, with the fact of how both of the teams are playing right now.
I think it comes down to how good Calgary meshes.
Yeah, I can agree with
It's
that.
a roster that hasn't been in the playoffs together before.
Right. So anyway, moving on to Vegas and San Jose. We gave them equal odds in this wheel. because I think it goes the distance. I know Jeremy thinks it goes the distance. But do you agree with the Wheel's choice?
Yeah, I'm Team Flurry all day.
A little bit of biasness in there, but
Hey, this is Pittsburgh edition.
I agree that Vegas. I think Vegas should take it.
I think San
But-
Jose, I think San Jose is a little overrated.
But
Ever since 2016, I haven't really seen them come back and do what they have done on a consistent basis. So I'm just like, it's easy for me to not back San Jose for some reason.
yeah, I mean, I just think that. I mean, whatever happens, this series is going to be a great rivalry in the starting up of a rivalry because Vegas and San Jose are pretty damn close. So I think it goes the distance, but I think Vegas wins. So yeah, now on to the matches of teams that we don't actually know if these are the matchups or not because Nashville and Winnipeg are 1 point from each other, and they both play today.
All right, I'm posting the stream on our Facebook again. Watch our show.
I mean, if they're listening or watching, they don't need to hear this.
Listening, they're watching, Shaan. We're not doing it live through radio.
This will be though.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
Watch in
anything?
the future.
Anything on the maybe Nashville versus Dallas?
I think Dallas is too shaky. Dallas is a team I can't trust in the playoffs. When's the last time? I mean, the last time they won a cup was in the Madonna days, right?
Yeah, I think so. But the Wheel thinks Dallas is gonna make it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. The Wheel hasn't picked a champion yet. How many years can you go with only Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin as your pieces?
True.
Are you
Yeah,
still shipping out Lettinen as their goaltender?
I think so.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. That's not winning any championship.
No, but I think Nashville actually has the better defensive core, so they're gonna win.
I think Nashville's just better.
Yeah. But I mean, comparatively, Nashville has 98 points right now, and Dallas had like 91 or something like that. So it wasn't that far off.
Nashville could play with only forwards that currently play on the Florida Panthers, and they'd be better.
Oh God. All right, last matchup.
All right, beer cam. All right. So we have St. Louis and we have Winnipeg. All right. So my pick is the Jets, but the Wheel has not been kind to me today. So oh yeah, Winnipeg. Winnipeg is our predicted winner. This one was another one. We don't even know if this will be the matchup, but I mean, Winnipeg went further in the playoffs last year. St. Louis didn't even make it last year, I don't think. So, I mean, St. Louis kind of has just hit the stride at the right point, but I still don't think that they're strong enough to last.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do think Winnipeg wins in 6.
Sounds good to me. Book it.
All right, so
If it happens. If it happens.
All right, so you want to go on to the special segment for Pittsburgh?
All right. So, yeah. Well, easy. We had to have the camera focus back in. We had a little blurry. So, yeah. This is and after this, we're gonna do a little riff of the trip, a little bit of our shared experiences that we'll have up on the YouTubes and stuff like that. But first, we were at dinner last night after Shaan had gotten into town, and I was thinking to myself, hey, why go to a Dick's Sporting Goods for some stuff? I bet, Facebook Marketplace or like a Craigslist, they sell stuff cheaper, and I'm Ubering everywhere in Pittsburgh anyway, so why not take a look at Facebook Marketplace, right?
And I thought this was a terrible idea, just for the record.
But it's terrible and funny at the same time, which is kind of in my wheelhouse, except more of what I do is incidentally funny and not just on purpose. So this is the first segment. We're going to hopefully do different cities each week because on Facebook Marketplace you can change your location, to anywhere that your heart desires. So being that this is our Pittsburgh edition and our in-person edition, which the second part has no real significance, we are doing stupid stuff you can get on Facebook Marketplace in your city. Pittsburgh edition, which I don't exactly like the fact that I do this to my own city, but this was my idea. Again, incidentally funny, not really. If I thought a little bit more using the old ticker, I could have done a little bit better with that one. All right, so let's lead it off with this. If you're buying a Tommy Maddox jersey now, you need to reevaluate some life decisions. A Tommy Maddox Steelers jersey. First of all, this dude came from the first rendition of the XFL. Vince McMahon's, Vince Vaughn's football league. No, it's Vince McMahon's football league that didn't last. So, hey, it's 2001. What do you do when you don't have a good quarterback because Cordell Stewart's kind of fallen flat? I don't know. You signed a guy from the XFL, right? Makes a lot of sense. The league didn't last because, they didn't. It wasn't smart sustainability. So why not bring, the one guy who won an XFL championship and all its prestige to the NFL?
What prestige?
And you'll find, that was Tommy Maddox's nickname. What prestige? So yeah, he better known as the predecessor to Roethlisberger, because the best thing that happened to Tommy Maddox's career, and I hate to say this because it's going to make me sound like a jerk, is he got injured, and that's what led Roethlisberger into the game in 2004. So yeah, you can get yourself a Tommy Maddox jersey for $25, or you can, I don't know, get yourself a few cases of beer and feel better about yourself for less. And then moving on to the next one, everybody knows the Steelers Bumblebee jerseys. Not depending on, if you love them or you hate them, it's usually one or the other. So why not make it like I'm Linus and get a blank template jersey off of eBay, and I'm gonna sell it to you and call it a Levi T-shirt. It's basically Linus from the Peanuts. So get yourself a blank Steeler jersey basically for $20, and I don't know why someone decided to sew a pocket to it. I don't know, if you look closely, someone sewed a pocket to it, but at the same time there's still an NFL tag on the jersey. If you're a small business, right, anything to make a profit. And then the third one that we have here is, okay, so a few years ago, Mike Vick signed like a 1-year deal. It was a little controversial because, this community, as well as any community, gets a little bit weird about the legal history of Mike Vick. But he was signed on a 1-year deal to be a third-string quarterback, basically.
Right.
Shaan, someone's selling a Mike Vick Steelers jersey.
Question, is it real?
Question really is, who would buy one? So this means that this person is looking for a second owner for this jersey. Why would someone be the first owner? Like a slot receiver? Yeah, I get that. He sees the field every now and then. Mike Vick literally played like 2 games and was crap. So yeah, you can get yourself one of those for $30
But
out
seriously, was it real?
You better hope that it wasn't. Like many things related to Mike Vick off the field, you better hope it wasn't real.
All right, last set.
All right, so we have 3 more here, including a price discount one that we found out today. We had a price slasher, but the first one is, so there's this guy, and he or she does it for Pirates beer koozies too. But notice they want $10 for a beer koozie, Shaan. Not even one with the logo on it. It's basically they just sewed the name of the team in all caps onto a beer koozie.
Isn't there reverse side non-caps?
It is. And I'm so glad you asked. Yes, you can get yourself Times New Roman stuck in caps lock, or Times New Roman, when the caps lock wasn't jammed in by a bunch of beer cans. $10 for a beer koozie. Keep in mind that you always want the drink in the koozie to be worth at least 15% of what's in the or of the koozie itself.
Yeah, okay.
It's just smart business.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. Yes, good
All
luck to your business. All right, so here we go. Price Slasher Deluxe. See, when I first came across this yesterday, it was $31. It had been reduced from 35 to 31. Now it's from 31 to 27. This is a combination Pittsburgh Penguins and Christmas tree blazer. Okay, I went to a Penguins game earlier this week. Nobody was wearing a Penguins blazer. Nonetheless, no one was wearing one with Christmas trees on it. And there was no Christmas attire anyway. This is a very limited time of the year gift. And keep in mind, a hockey team only plays half its games at home. So, this is a long way to dress up for something that, like, it's overkill, really. Like, you can be the most diehard Pittsburgh fan as, I am. I ain't buying a blazer, Shaan.
Yeah, I don't think I'm buying a blazer either.
Not even for $27.
Definitely not that thing for $27.
What if it was the Devils? If it was black and red?
Not if it was a Devils plus Christmas tree blazer.
Well, you don't want the Devils logo to set a Christmas tree on fire.
Could we even do that with how we're playing?
Guess you couldn't sink any lower. All right.
All right, last one.
All right, our last one was the NFL licensed, and this just shows how much the NFL loves making money. It's the quilted pet crate cover. Not even the crate. Not even the crate. So, run your errands. You put your dog in a place to keep it from, peeing all over the house, stuff like that. So nothing says, I love my football team more than basically just putting, like, a sign over a crate. But it's NFL licensed, Sean. The NFL wants you to have this. And for a bargain of $25, is it, dollars? You can have basically something that you put on top of a crate.
That you have to put your pet in, which I don't really recommend either.
And again, these are things that people bought because they're being put on a reselling market. And, so that concludes the Facebook Marketplace debut segment of stupid things being sold in your city.
All right. So, any closing remarks, Jeremy?
So now we're just gonna talk to the people. This trip has been a lot of fun for me. It was my vacation. A lot of people would go to places like Hawaii, maybe to an LA, go to the beach. That's not me. Obviously, I'm a Rust Belt guy. I was raised by parents from this area, and I mean, I came back. I came to the homeland really for vacation. It's been a lot of fun this week, but now it's time to rant. Much like my Gonzaga rant, but this is more fun. So we have a Penguins game that's about to start up here. We're not in the arena, but we have the TV right beyond the webcam here. But on Thursday, I went to see the Red Wings Penguins game. And if you know anything about what a Yinzer is, it's basically a Pittsburgher through and through with a little bit of an accent. Ian's got to go down there and do this and do that. I tell you, it's a little rednecky, but I had the privilege I went to the game by myself, sat next to some nice people, but in front of four Yinzers, like dudes who's literally in another era would have been working in the steel mines. There's no way that these guys were not like construction workers or something. The thought of them in a cubicle you can't do that. They all show up in like trucker caps, and that's fine, to each their own. But these guys would have kept me entertained if the Penguins lost 7-0. Like, I told these guys I'm from North Carolina, and they were good to me. It was like they were cracking jokes all night long. They're like, this guy, he wants to go back to North Carolina. I was like, dude, I'll stay here forever. Like, they don't have this kind of, like, zinger thing in the South. It was great. It was like, riffing on Dominic Simone, who's a player on the Penguins. It was like, some guy defended him, like, oh, he's not the worst guy on the Penguins. Like, hey, this dude, Jakey, he's his favorite player is Dominic Simone and that. And it's like, Was Bertuzzi on the Red Wings, Todd Bertuzzi, or is it Tyler Bertuzzi, whatever, was making jokes about, oh, his dad killed somebody. Just like, oh no. So he goes to the box for him. Bertuzzi goes to the box for embellishment because like he got whacked a little. Yeah. So it goes to a 4-on-4 scenario, and it's at first they were like, I wonder if it's going to be like a 4-minute penalty because like Bertuzzi got like hit in the face incidentally. It was like, oh, he can go to the box for only 2 minutes. His dad like murdered somebody. it was like just classic zingers. Like these are kind of heavy set guys, and it's like behind us is like, oh, this dude, his face is so big. The highest video output that his face could be in is 720. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, that dude, he must be a widescreen specialist. Can't even make HD. I was dying laughing. Even the married couple next to me dying laughing. It was great. And we'll get into the food portion of the trip now to do a little transition. If you know Phil Kessel, known as the big hot dog eater guy, they won cups and then they had the parade. Phil Kessel chomping down on fake hot dogs. They made signs during the parade for that. So Phil Kessel, they announced at the start of the game, if the Penguins score within the first 2 minutes of the second period, everybody in the crowd gets a free Big Mac tomorrow. Phil Kessel scores on a power play within the first 2 minutes of the second period. Everybody gets a free Big Mac. This is classic Phil Kessel stuff. And after the goal, what happens? The Penguins fans, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. A sold-out crowd of thank you, Phil, for some Big Macs. And in the post-game, he's like one of the 3 stars. Dan Potash, the local TV guy, gives him the interview. Hey, Phil, can I take you to lunch tomorrow? Get some Big Macs? Kessel? No, thanks. And then he just walks away. But speaking of hot dogs and burgers and stuff, the Pirates game, we didn't go to the troublesome one, but earlier this week, the Pirates ran out of buns for their hot dogs.
And it was $1 hot dog night.
$1 hot dog night, no buns. Now, they played it off nicely the next day, or 2 days later. I think they had an off day in between. They put a nice video together of the pirate parrot with like a crate full of buns outside the stadium feeding the birds. Got to keep your friends in the loop. But at the same time, like, come on. You thought that the Pirates were cheap before. They don't even have enough buns for a $1 hot dog. It's like a pack of 6 buns is like $2, Shaan. Like it literally costs less than what you're selling the hot dogs for.
hey, we're not pirates, so we don't know.
I don't know.
But
well, we're not pirates, but
to be fair, the things that like the community and stuff made from that mishap have been hilarious. You should go look it up.
Yeah, look up Ben Stonium. There's a Sally Struthers type commercial asking for you to donate to take care of a dog in need of a bun.
Yeah, that was so good.
It was a late night treat, not so much like a hot dog with a bun on it, but Penguins don't have that problem. So yeah, it's been an entertaining trip. I'd say to anyone long before this trip, if you want entertainment value, come here and go to the sporting events. I'll reiterate that. It's a lot of fun. Go to a Pirates game and make fun of the team in the stands like I did all last night, talking about how, like, oh, Pablo Reyes, the only thing that's keeping him on an MLB roster is the fact that his name literally is the most stereotypical Latino MLB player name. Or, I don't know, about how the bullpen blew 2 leads and, like, how a game takes long enough that you can come back from your lunch break on a day game and then leave work before it ends because they suck. But then they won the 2 games when we went to, so you never know. If you're around the right people at a sporting event out here in Pittsburgh, a game can be really funny. Just not a Steelers game because we all live and die with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was actually very entertaining for the two
Oh, yeah.
Pirates games we went.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And was it the Pirates aren't really selling out a lot of games, so if you're out of town,
Aren't really selling out means like 75% of the arena, 75% of the place is empty.
yeah. I mean, earlier this week I was walking around downtown, took pictures across the river in the stadium before the game had started against the Cardinals earlier this week. Took a picture of the stadium, and I'll probably post the before and afters. Not a lot there, but it's before the game. Not a lot of people show up for like BP time. I have pictures from the bottom of the ninth when they had a guy on second base and no outs. Like literally the same amount of people. So, I mean, they're just not. If you want cheap tickets to a baseball team or a baseball game, come out here, because even with the plane ticket, you're paying less than like really good seats for a Yankee game. Debatable. I know you're a Yankee fan, but
I agree.
and you get a little bit better scenery. And if you're like us, last night we literally had the whole row in our section by ourselves. The whole row. So, I mean, like, you can put your legs up on the empty seat in front of you, because there's like a 70% chance it will be, unless you sit down by the third baseline like we did today, wearing our In the Tunnel shirts, trying to support our brand. So just help us spread the word around the Berg and around the world. Thank you for listening. Shaan, you have anything else to add? A little story time?
No story. I just wanted to, today as we're recording this is the 1 year anniversary for the Humboldt Broncos crash. So, as it's the 1 year anniversary, just want to say, like, our hearts are with them still, as a lot of them are still going through a lot of pain, and it's good to see what the few of them have been able to come back into. But still, it was a sad time, and it's not something we can easily forget.
Yes. I think, we talk about in a city like this how work ethic defines the people. I don't think that anyone has worked harder than some of the guys who have had to recover from injuries like that they suffered in that crash, and our thoughts and prayers still go out to them and their families, especially the ones that lost the lives of their sons who were on the team. We joke around a lot and we're goofy and critical in this podcast, but I don't think that either of us have the strength to do what some of these guys are doing. Our hearts still go out to them, and let something like this never happen to a community like that again, or any kind of people in any community. Love is more powerful than hate, and we need to be spreading messages like that at the end of the day when we're being serious. I know, like I said, we're critical and make jokes, but at the end of the day, we still believe in positive messages. We don't need for bad things to happen to anybody, regardless of race, religion, anything like that. We were all put on this earth to serve missions and to do great things and leave our own legacies, and we all deserve an opportunity to fulfill those potentials that we've been given.
Yeah, so on that note, that's the end of our episode for Live in Pittsburgh, and we will talk again next time.
Yeah. And we will be updating the Facebook page, YouTube page. Find JDJS Productions on YouTube, all that stuff. Twitter, we're going to try to put up stuff. It more likely than not, some of it won't be until I get back and have the opportunity to go through some pictures and stuff like that. But we're going to try to make sure that we get some of the stuff that we got through on this trip out to you guys. So thank you for listening and supporting us.